What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to give you guys 3 tips for kite foiling in super duper light wind. Let's go.
1, 3, 5, go! Coming from the wild, wild West Indies.
Alrighty guys, so tip number 1 is to make sure you have the right gear. Whenever it comes to light wind kiteboarding, you gotta kind of adjust your gear accordingly. So today we're going to be using the 9-meter reach, which is kind of a standard 3-strut kite, but it's super light build, so that means it's going to fly pretty good in super duper light wind. You can also use a 1-strut kite. Basically any kite that's super light is going to fly better when the wind's light. And then foil wise, we're actually riding a 1250 high aspect wing, which has kind of become my new favorite wing for super duper light wind because it has a lot of lift, but it's still pretty fast once you get going. So again, when it comes to foiling, the actual foil setup on your board, you want to have a nice big wing. This is the 1250, I also ride the 1150, but the bigger this wing is, the better it's going to work when the wind's light. If you go tiny on this, you're going to have a hard time getting up and getting planing. So that's tip number 1. Assess your gear, and if you're going to be kiting in super duper light wind a lot, make sure you got some light wind gear. Okay, so kites up. Today we got about 9-10 knots, not a lot of wind at all. So if you haven't had a lot of light wind flying experience, these tips might help you out. So number 1 tip when the wind's light is you want to kind of keep the kite moving. No matter if you have a light wind kite or not, when it's light wind, the kite just wants to fall out of the sky. So top tip is just keep that kite moving around. You don't want to like park at 12 all day because she may just jump out of the sky on you and end up crashing. So just a little bit left and right movement can help, and also keep that bar pulled in a little bit. You don't want it all the way out here because that's going to just make everything go slack and the kite tomahawk on you. If you've been kiting for a while, you probably know this stuff, but if you're new to light wind flying, keep that kite moving. Once you keep it moving, lines will stay tight, and hopefully your kite will stay flying. Okay, so we got the right gear. We know how to fly our kite in light wind. Next up comes the important stuff when you're actually kite foiling in light wind. You want to be pretty good at staying on foil. So what's going to help you do that is you want to get good at doing S-turns first. If you're new to foiling, basically just being able to transition without having to stop and get the board off, because as soon as you stop in light wind, again, lines go slack, kite's going to want to fall on you. So if you're new, really work on your S-turns. Carve around on your toes, carve around on your heels, and try and get to where you can do a couple transitions and stay dry. And then the progression from there is switching your feet and then also doing down loop transitions. Down loop transitions are a game changer for all light wind kiting, whether you're on foil or you're even on a twin tip. Down loops allow you to keep the lines tight and really power through on the foil and keep tension in everything. So that's kind of progression. Normal S-turns, switching your feet, down loop transitions, and then when you get to like Super Saiyan level, you can start to think about roll tacks. And all those type of transitions are really going to help you just stay on foil, keep tension in your kite, keep the kite up, and hopefully keep you foiling when the wind's super duper light. Okay, and the last tip for you is for when the inevitable happens and you're kite foiling light wind and you're having a 6 session and you blow out an attack, everything goes slack and your kite goes down. What do you do to kind of relaunch your kite in super duper light wind with a foil? The number 1 thing you don't want to do is ditch your foil. You want to keep that foil with you, because when it's super duper light wind, if that foil gets away from you, you're probably not going to get it back. And when the wind's light, the foil is your only way of actually keeping tension in the lines and starting to create a little bit of resistance to hopefully get things tight and get the kite back up. So what I usually do, I actually ride my foil with a front strap, so this helps. If you're not riding with straps, it may be a little bit harder. You want to get the board on your feet. Kind of get the board on your feet, foil downwind of you, and kind of push against it. Try and get a little bit of tension in your lines, and this will hopefully help you get the kite up just like you would normally relaunch it and get back to your light wind foil session. Alrighty guys, that pretty much sums up my top 3 things to think about if you're going to be kite foiling in super duper light wind. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel because we're going to drop a lot of content this season. So if you want to get some tips, tag along for some adventures, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can see what we getting up to. And if you got any tips that I missed, drop them in the comments. All these videos are supposed to be just like conversation pieces where I give some tips, and if you guys are super good, you guys can also give some tips as well. Alright, so that's it. I think I'm going to actually go for a 6 session now in this like 8-9 knot weather. I'll see you guys soon. Peace, love, and big ups.